ADHD and medication side effect. I have been taking medication for ADHD and depression since last November, and it feels like I've changed the medication 5 to 6 times. After receiving a prescription and checking progress 2 weeks later, I changed the medication according to my comfort. This cycle of checking progress and changing medication continues. In my opinion, the best medication is probably the first one I was prescribed, as it feels like tweaking can only go so far. However, it seems like the specialist suggests various medications based on my discomfort, and I bring it up. My body is incredibly sensitive beyond imagination. Even with ADHD and antidepressant medication, I take those equivalent to those of a child under 10 years old, and the side effects are surprisingly powerful. I am so sensitive in my senses that I might have been a high-level gifted person. While most people play a do note on the piano, I play the highest note, and my senses are highly developed. Even beyond the 5 senses, I have a strong sixth sense. However, my sensitivity goes beyond the level of the average person, making it difficult for others to empathize with me. One time, I was studying at home when I suddenly felt a strong urge to check my husband's old phone. As it turned out, there was a text message waiting for me. It was about my health insurance, which used to cover my parents and younger brother before we cut ties with them. Without any explanation, since we had cut ties, they had been switched to become under my husband's plan. My parents, who always found fault with the service I provided and considered them taken granted and inadequate, must have been able to bear the thought of their money going to waste. However, I found out through my husband's old phone that he had received a message about a routine checkup for women. I was so fed up with all of this made immediately removing my parents from the plan. This kind of things happens so often that even though I believe in Jesus, my friends once compared me to a shaman when I pray. That's when I say, do not blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. The sin of blaspheming against the Holy Spirit cannot be forgiven. Anyway, as I was saying, I take Concerta 18 for my ADHD, and I have chronic depression since I was young, although I didn't realize it at the time. I have had a lot of negative experience with depression medication because the side effects were so severe. However, with Concerta, I found that it helped me focus and be more productive without causing too many any negative side effects. The side effects of different depression medications vary widely, and I can't remember the names of the ones I have taken, but some of them caused my sleep to be severely disrupted to the point where I was only sleeping 2 hours a day after just a week of taking them. I tried to touch it out for about 2 weeks, but then I had to go back to the doctor and tell them what was happening because it was causing me a lot of distress. My specialist was surprised by how sensitive I was to the medication and prescribed me a different one, but then that medication made me feel like I was drowning in depression. When I went back to my specialist to discuss the side effect, they discovered that the medication was causing digestive problems and I was struggling to eat. This went on for 2 months. This went on for about 2 months, and I was in a very bad state. When I finally went back to my doctor after 3 weeks of taking the medication, I realized that my poor eating habits may have contributed to the side effects, but I didn't realize it at the time because I thought it was just the medication. I was always tired and had no energy, even though I would sleep 10 hours a day and take naps. I only had enough energy to work for 2 days a week. After switching to a different medication, I was able to wake up normally and work in good condition again. So it's no wonder that I am amazed by the effect of ADHD and antidepressant medication which manipulate hormones. Previously, all of my efforts to overcome my struggles with faith, prayer, and willpower were like a never-ending challenge of pushing a tank with my bare hands. Trying to out different medications and finding the right one only feels like a marathon, and it doesn't always make me feel great. I sometimes wonder if it's okay to live with mental struggles while taking medication, but at the same time, I feel grateful that I can center my life around work and daily activities without being consumed by depression. If I take medication for the next 10 years or so, and adjust to a stress-free life, eat good food, and exercise hard, I wonder if I can stop taking medication and not taking antidepressant if my prefrontal develops due to brain plasticity.